Hey folks, it's Rob and welcome back. We're continuing our series today on the Monstrous Compendium Appendix for the Mystara setting from 1994, a TSR product. We're on part 31 today, which means we're on page 85, which is our facing page. And we can see today that unfortunately our creature is meant to be white on a white background, right? So our usual kind of faded problems are applying in that a lot of the accents are kind of meant to be purpley. Like there is this purple shadow here underneath it is supposed to be much darker. And all throughout, the whole thing's very washed out and lost. Now, it's got kind of a goblin grimacing skull face here with a yellow tassel coming off the top and a yellow tassel coming off its rump here. It's kind of like a centaur, but albino with nasty claws and, goblin head. What is this, you might ask? Well, I'm going to take a running jump at this name, and I'm going to say it's the Nukalavee. Nukalavee? Yeah, Nukalavee. Okay. And hopefully you're happy with that pronunciation, and I'm not corrected in the text. I didn't see anything on a quick scan, but, I could be wrong. Don't be afraid to be wrong, folks. Just, hope that people will correct you when you are. It's been quite a day. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be horribly distracted immediately, but what I've been choppers overhead all day long. I live in Southern California, and unfortunately, it's crazy time right now. I'm safe, but I'm not very far away from people who aren't. Take that as you will. I'm not going to be political here on my channel, but I would like to not have helicopters flying over my house all day, hence why I'm thinking of moving anyway. California. Please change someday. Okay. Let's get into it. Nukalavee. Climate terrain. Temperate or subarctic coastal waters or ruins. Now, again, assume that's underwater ruins as opposed to, well, maybe above ground ruins, because, surprise spoiler, these are amphibians, I believe. Frequency rare. They are solitary. Their activity cycles any. They are omnivorous. Their average intelligence 8 to 10. No treasure. Great. They are chaotic evil. Fun. One appears. Okay. Armor class 4, movement 12, but swimming 36. Very fast in the water. Hit dice 11. To hit AC 0, 9. Number of attacks 2. Those attacks are a 3d8 claw and a 3d8 claw. So that's 3 to 24 points of damage for each claw attack. Twice every round. If they hit, of course. Special attack is Death Aura, Fear, and Breath Weapon. Special defenses are regeneration, immunities, and possible spell casting. And it has a 20% magic resistance. Size, huge, 7 foot tall at the shoulder, which normally with horses, the shoulder is down here. I don't know if the shoulder on centaurs is the same or the actual shoulder of the centaur. But either way, that's 7 foot tall here or 7 foot tall here. You be the judge. Morale champion, 15. XP value, 11,000. 12,000 if it's a spellcaster. Nukalavee are evil amphibious creatures related distantly to centaurs. These hideous beings are friendly with all types of undead. Living creatures, however, are things to be hated and exterminated. A Nukalavee is shaped similar to a centaur, but it has an enlarged, hideous head. The creature's skin is transparent. The resulting visibility of white, ropey muscles, yellow veins, orange arteries, black blood, and odd pulsating organs is quite horrible. I can't resist making the breakfast cereal joke. I'm sorry. It's the best I could do just to make it that limited. Um, Coming this fall for Halloween, kids. A putrid odor of decay wafts about these creatures. The stench is so strong and oppressive that it can be felt and tasted. Ew. Nukalavee speak common and their own guttural language and can communicate freely with all types of undead. The Nukalavee language is composed of gurgles, slurps, and clicks and sounds harsh to the ears. So imagine that, but German. I don't know. I don't know. I'm in a mood today. Sorry. This is going to be a really special episode, I can tell right now. I hope you're here for it, because if you're not, tune in next week. I'll probably have more presence of mind. Combat. This creature's existence is an affront to all living things. As a result, a Nukalavee's presence slays all normal insects and other small creatures with 2 hit points or less, small birds, squirrels, rabbits, chipmunks, etc., within a 120-foot radius. Familiars are not killed by this death aura, but they feel ill when near a Nukalavee. The Nukalavee need not concentrate to produce this effect, and the creature cannot prevent it. Great. A Nukalavee also radiates fear in a 50-foot radius. Any creature that enters the area must make a saving throw versus paralysis or flee for 2d6 rounds. A character who makes a successful saving throw versus throw against the fear effect resists it. Another saving throw must be made if a comrade dies in combat with an Nukalavee. Deaths caused by this creature are truly horrible to behold. Do we get into that? I don't know. The Nukalavee's favorite attack is its cone of cold, which it can breathe once every 3 rounds. The cone is 60 feet long, 10 feet wide at the base, and inflicts 6d6 points of damage to victims in the area of effect. Each victim caught in the icy blast is allowed a saving throw versus breath weapon. Success means only half damage is taken. I'm going to point out that there is no limitation other than the fact it's once every 3 rounds that it can do the cone of cold attack. So that's, 60 feet by 10. That's basically, on most map scales, probably going to be just a 6 by 10 block, right? 6 by 1 block. But, dragons are limited to 3 times a day with their breath weapons. But no, not this special, weird, not really undead Nukalavee. No, it can breathe cone of cold as much as it wants once every 3 turns. Sorry, not even turns, rounds. Sorry, I'm slowing it down. We don't want that. Nukalavee attack in melee with both claws, each causing 3d8 hit points of damage. Some Nukalavee are spellcasters. Their spell abilities range from those of 2nd level clerics to wizards of 1st through 4th level. In addition to magic resistance of 20%, the Nukalavee is immune to poison and fire. It regenerates 3 hit points per round until killed. That's like a troll, honestly. So that's not a strange amount of regeneration, but it's also immune to fire, which is your natural reaction to things that regenerate, right? Burn it. The creature cannot cross flowing fresh water. So now we got a vampire aspect. Unintelligent undead never attack Nukalavee unless rigidly controlled. Self-willed undead are usually on good terms with the Nukalavee. They meet at the coffee shop occasionally and have talk shop, right? And they're all in the Rotary Club together. I'm sorry, kids. You're probably not even getting those jokes. Habitat/society. These hideous creatures are solitary beings that have no desire to congregate with others of their kind. Reproduction is accomplished once every 5 years when Nukalavee take mates long enough to conceive. Once conception occurs, the Nukalavee go to their separate ways. A birth results in 1d3 offspring that resemble transparent, malformed centaur foals with gills and bulging eyes. Nukalavee foals mature in 5 weeks. Though they cannot use their claws or breath weapon until they reach maturity, they still radiate fear auras. Some sages profess that Nukalavee are in fact corrupt centaurs that fled to the oceans to get away from their good brethren. Many centaur elders deny this, however, claiming that Nukalavee are hideous parodies of centaurs created by some mad creature of great power. Other centaur elders and many other sages reject any true relationship between Nukalavee and centaurs, attributing similarities to coincidence. Nukalavee lairs are great underwater cages composed of the bones of their victims. These lairs are built just offshore in oceans and saltwater lakes. The tops of these cages barely break the water's surface. Ecology. Nukalavee are a threat to the environment around them. They are often hunted by druids and good creatures. They subsist on living flesh, but Nukalavee simply enjoy hunting and slaughtering all types of animals and birds. They are as destructive and careless about the environment around them as centaurs are conscientious. And this is that kind of chaotic evil, right? This is the madman, arsonist, crazy psychopath kind of chaotic evil, right? So, there. That was that. Let's move forward. Hey, it's a Pegataur. A Pegataur is at least probably not so hideous, right? Yeah. Page 86. Once again, we have our image. There are wings here. Put 2 of them. I know the foreground wing is definitely lost as we approach the margin of the page, but it actually goes practically to the very edge of the page over here. And I'm sorry you can't make that out, because it's actually just fitting. They just fit this in, as you can see. As they wrap the text around the picture here, it's just in frame. And they put a lot of effort into trying to make that happen, which is a nice change. Again, you can tell this should be much darker down here underneath it. And the entire wing is basically made up of purpley blue markers on white, right? So that's why it's gone. Because for some reason, whatever they did to scan this just could not pick that up efficiently. But you can see an elven / pixie ear here, and it's otherwise a centaur, but with wings. So hence Pegataur, right? Pegasus centaur. Let's get into it. So, climate / terrain. Temperate mountains. Frequency, very rare. Organization, tribal. Activity cycle, day. Diet, omnivore. Intelligence, average 8 to 10. They have treasure type E in their lair. They are neutral good. Number appearing 2d10. Armor class 7 or better with armor. It can get complicated armoring them, but you're the DM. Work it out. What you think is fair if they're like wearing a breastplate, but the body, or if they're wearing like, barding. Movement 18 on the ground. Flying 36. C maneuverability, or D if they are encumbered. So, they're weighted down because there's plenty on they're trying to carry a load of, say, like a person. Hit dice 5 to 8. To hit AC 0 for 5 to 6 hit dice, 15. 7 to 8 hit dice, 13. They get 3 attacks. That is a D6 hoof, a D6 hoof, and by weapon. So they get the 2 hooves plus a weapon. Special attack is dive. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. Special defenses, 30% immunity to sleep and charm. Is a 30% immunity to sleep and charm is not, okay. Magic resistance, nil. They are size large, 8 foot tall. So I'm guessing that's to the top of the head, right? Morale elite, XP value 975, but Spellcasters at 5 hit dice, 1,400. 6 hit dice leader, 1,400. A 7 hit die leader, 2,000. And 8 hit die leader, 3,000. Pegataurs are winged creatures with the upper bodies of elves. They are skilled warriors, sometimes hired as mercenaries. A Pegataur's lower body resembles a strong, healthy horse. Most are white, gray, brown, or black. Pegataur wings, normally white, consist of downy but strong feathers. A Pegataur's upper torso and head resemble a high elf. Most have long blonde or silver hair. They speak Common, Elvish, and their own language, a particular dialect related to Elvish but different enough to be a separate language. I'm trying to think of a real world similarity, probably along the lines of like Danish and Swedish. I'm kind of guessing, but it's what I've heard because I'm not directly familiar, I'm afraid. Maybe more like Brazilian Portuguese and, Portuguese. I don't know. Up to you. Again, you're the DM, right? Right. So, back to it. Pegataurs have an affinity for Pegasi and can communicate with them. Okay. Combat. Pegataurs fight to defend themselves or their territory. They also fight if ordered to do so by an employer. Though they prefer not to, Pegataurs sometimes carry humans or demi-humans into combat. If a group of Pegataurs surprises opponents in the open, a swooping dive at the foes is preferred, often with light lances. This charging attack grants the Pegataurs a +2 bonus to attack rolls and a +1 penalty to armor class. Now remember, that is a penalty, so this is a descending armor class system. If you're wanting to convert this, you need to change that around. If you're playing a, 3rd edition or later version of the game. Since the Pegataurs dive only at opponents they surprise, the opponents do not receive the standard initiative bonus associated with a charging attack. A successful attack by a diving centaur inflicts double damage. The diving maneuver is usually performed once at the beginning of combat as a softening up measure. It often, 60% of such attacks, ruins the lances. Nice. Although, I've seen jousting matches and they break them there too. Pegataurs can attack with their front hooves, inflicting 1d6 points of damage with each. A Pegataur can attack with a weapon and both hooves all in the same round. Most adult Pegataurs are proficient with longbow, light lance, two-handed sword, and a horseman's mace. A standard 5 hit dice Pegataur is 20% likely to be specialized with one of these weapons. Specialization is a mechanic that exists in BECME, but not basic Dungeons and Dragons. It shows up in the master rule set, but it can apply to any level of character. But specialization mentioned here is the 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons version of specialization, which functions in many ways much like the master set specialization, but also not. It is a little different, but basically it gives you generally accuracy and damage bonuses using your specialized weapon for the cost of additional skill slots in the 2nd edition. And eventually, it can mean that you attack more often as well. So, those are big mechanical differences that you may or may not want to introduce. If you're needing to build out a Pegataur like that, I suggest you do so before play instead of just trying to come up with one on the fly. Obviously, you have this idea of using a Pegataur in your game. Work it out before you sit down at the table or in front of the camera, right? Hey, I'm modern. I played a game today via this very microphone at this very desk. So, so many diversions, Rob. Keep going. I know. Helicopters overhead. And it's distracting me. Literally 2 in the morning, helicopter outside my house. Okay, so most adult Pegataurs are. We did that. Most Pegataurs remain unarmored for better mobility in the air. However, there is a 30% chance that a group of Pegataurs will be armored as follows: chainmail 50%, leather 25%, elven chain 10%, splint 10%, or plate mail 5%. Splint mail does not appear in Beckme until I think later editions. So it's not like in the basic set, but I think it is in the broader expanded rules. I'm not exactly sure which box set it shows up in. Split mail is with second edition all along. Armor types of armor class 7 or worse provide an AC bonus of -1. Thus, a Pegataur in leather armor is AC class 6. Only 10% of Pegataurs carry shields into battle. Pegataurs using shields receive a -1 bonus to armor class for their humanoid foreparts only. I'm not sure how you're going to determine how an attack is against the entire Pegataur or against just, the torso. That's not really how this game is set up in any of these, AD&D, AD&D Second Edition, or in the BECME or basic BX versions of the game, or even just original Dungeons and Dragons. Not without specialty house rules. Oh, I keep getting off track. Right. Pegataur leaders have a 5% chance per hit die to have enchanted armor. Pegataurs wearing armor or carrying riders are maneuverability class D. Riders may be armed. Most Pegataurs encountered have 5 hit dice. Of these, approximately 1/3 can cast spells as a 5th level wizard in addition to their warrior abilities. However, these multi-class Pegataurs never have weapon specialization. Any group of 5 or fewer Pegataurs has a 40% chance of being accompanied by a 1d10 Pegasi. For each 4 Pegataurs in a group, there will be a 5th Pegataur with 6 hit dice. For every 10 Pegataurs encountered, there will be an additional Pegataur with 7 hit dice. And for every 20 Pegataurs encountered, there will be one with 8 hit dice, and a 50% chance for either a mage or a cleric of 5th level. Single-class Pegataur wizards can be specialists, but such characters are rare and never necromancers. Rare Pegataurs may rise to higher levels as wizards, fighters, or priests, but they are not known to advance beyond 14th level in any class. All Pegataurs have 60-foot infravision. Like half-elves, Pegataurs are 30% resistant to sleep and charm spells. Habitat/Society. Pegataurs carve abodes in the sides of high mountains. These Pegataur-made caves, called tehir, are not dark and cramped, but are instead beautiful affairs with vaulted ceilings and intricately carved walls. Veins of rare crystal provide illumination at night. A Pegataur tribe usually has 2d10 plus 10 adult members and is led by a male with 8 hit dice. In addition to the adults, a tribe also has 1d10 plus 5 non-combatant foals and 3d6 Pegasi. Like elves, Pegataurs are generally aloof, especially towards non-flyers, though their alignment makes them more approachable than may be initially believed. If paid well and treated with respect, Pegataurs can be hired as troops or bodyguards for special tasks. Pegataurs never work for evil individuals. Ecology. Pegataurs have been known to work with druids and Phanatons to maintain the balance of nature in a given area. They also train Pegasi mounts for ground dwellers. Well, that was interesting. And that mentioned our next character, monster, the Phanaton, which is found in the Isle of Dread module, X1, usually found with the Expert Set box set, but sometimes sold individually, and there's about 1 billion of them out there. Not as many as Keep on the Borderlands, but certainly plenty of them out there. Let's get into it. Page 87. Climate terrain. tropical or subtropical jungles and forests. Frequency rare. Organization clan. Activity cycle any. They are omnivores. Intelligence average, 8 to 10. They're no treasure. They are chaotic good. Number appearing 3d6. Armor class 7. Movement 9. But they have that's a glide. Yes, glide 15. Hit dice is 1 minus 1. So that's going to be a 1 to, basically it's always going to be minimum 1, right? But you're going to take 1 off anything else. To hit AC 0 is 20. Number of attacks, 1. Damage per attack is a d4 bite or by weapon. Special attack is surprise. Special defense is +2 bonus on all their saving throws. Magic resistance, nil. Size, small. They're 3 feet tall, approximately. Average morale, 8. So, not very robust in combat. XP value, 35. The warrior type is 120 XP, chief type 270 XP, and the Phanaton king is worth 2,000 XP. Phanatons are odd, seldom seen, intelligent forest dwellers that have very strong ties to nature. A Phanaton looks like a cross between a raccoon and a monkey, though its face has an almost human quality in terms of subtle expressions. A Phanaton is roughly the size of a halfling and has a 4-foot-long prehensile tail. In addition, a Phanaton has membranes of skin stretching from arm to leg. These can be spread to glide from branch to branch. A Phanaton's coloration resembles a raccoon, with a dark mask over its eyes, gray-brown fur, and a ringed tail. The Phanaton's hands are like a monkey's, including opposable thumbs. A Phanaton's eyes are bright green, fiery red, or shiny yellow. In the dark, Phanaton eyes can give travelers quite a scare. Phanatons speak the language of elves and treants, as well as their own language that consists largely of hoots, chatters, and clicks. Feel free to do your favorite monkey impressions. Moving to the art for a moment, we can see this is actually terribly faded. This is actually a pretty decent green for the little pack. Its body, again, they use a blue tinge to kind of darken things out on a lot of these images, and that is certainly been washed out here in the body. The brown is not as deep as it should be, as is the stick, and it's like, I'm guessing it's kind of like a club or a staff for it. I'm not sure. Again, the purple shadow is completely gone, but it should be there. It is in my hand. It would be great if we could get a new scan of this, Wizards. That'd be great if you could do that and put it on Drive-Thru RPG. I mean, they're never going to do that. Combat. Their gentle nature makes Phanatons slow to attack strangers, though they fight fanatically to save the natural beauty around them from destruction. As a rule, Phanatons will not opt for direct attacks on bigger or more numerous foes. Phanatons use the forest setting in order to launch harrying sneak attacks. They are naturally quiet, which gives opponents a -3 penalty to surprise rolls. When among trees, Phanatons can move silently like thieves, with 75% chance of success. Phanatons hate Arania intensely, and will attack them on sight, casting aside all tactics and stealth. Phanatons use simple weapons such as clubs, staves, and nets. Most of their weapons are fabricated simply with materials at hand. Phanatons rarely use metal weapons. When not using weapons, Phanatons deliver a bite that causes 1d4 points of damage. Phanatons have extremely acute senses and therefore have an empathy with their forest surroundings. This gives them a +2 bonus on all their saving throws. I'm not quite sure how that gives them a bonus to saving versus poison, but whatever. We don't need to get into that. When a group of 10 Phanatons is encountered, the group will include a warrior, Nunchala, with a 2 hit dice and 10 hit points. In a group of 30 Phanatons, there is a clan war chief with 3 hit dice, at least 15 hit points, and a +1 bonus to all damage rolls. The war chief has 2d6 in Nukalavee as guards. If 300 adult Phanatons are encountered, they are led by a tribal king with 8 hit dice, 50 hit points, and +2 damage to all damage rolls. The literal King Kong of this group. Maybe you want to go with King Tanuki. I don't know. Habitat/Society. Each Phanaton tribe is made up of clans. Phanaton clans have 3d10 times 10 adult members plus an additional 25% of that number in offspring. Clans live in villages built on platforms of wood and woven vines connected by a network of rope bridges. Phanatons can live for 80 years. Their litters have 1d6 kits. The kits grow to maturity in 6 months. That is a fast growth cycle. Though Phanatons do not have a written language, they love to pass down stories and legends from generation to generation. In fact, many Phanaton names are followed by a list of the Phanatons' ancestors' accomplishments. Phanatons are allies of treants and dryads, and are usually very friendly with elves, especially wood elves. The Arania are their traditional enemies. Phanatons often run afoul of humans, humanoids, and demi-humans who attempt to cut down forests. Phanatons try to halt timber efforts by secretly sabotaging equipment and playing annoying, non-lethal tricks on the woodcutters. Ecology. A healthy woods or jungle is often a sign of Phanaton influence. These creatures enjoy tending to woods around them and cultivating favorite plants, clearing away dead plant matter, and ensuring that the balance of nature in their area is maintained. Phanatons are omnivorous. They prefer to eat fruits and vegetables, but also eat meat. They find spiders to be especially delicious. That would be the Arania we were talking about earlier, which I don't believe actually appear in this book, so it's interesting that they refer to it. But they are definitely in the X1 Isle of Dread module. Right, that's going to be it for today. Again, I apologize for getting off subject here at various points and for my, vaguely weird sense of humor. But, if you like my content, please make sure you give me a like. Maybe subscribe, because I just do this all the time. Once a week at least. But no, I really do appreciate you spending the time here with me today. I hope you have an excellent day. Goodbye.